Lately, scrolling reels feels boring. Watching a movie feels too long. Cleaning your study table feels like a stressful job. You want to work, but you don't get that energy to start. You are not alone who is facing this problem. There were a lot more who is facing the exact same problem. And in this video, I'm going to break down that exact science behind this phenomenon. At last, I will be sharing practical tips to get out of this problem. This problem has a wonderful, the paradox of boredom. In our childhood, whenever we were uninterested in any situation, we used to casually define it by saying we are bored. But this boredom is way more dangerous than it seemed to. Listen to few incidents where boredom compelled people to do such things that they were not supposed to do. An incident came out of an air traffic controller that, in a very quiet overnight shift, he became so bored that he started watching a crime thriller movie instead of monitoring the airspace. Here is another case which is way more weird, where a security guard was feeling so bored on his job that he decided to handcuff himself for fun. Unfortunately, he lost the key and had to shamefully call the police to come and rescue him. Sounds so weird and funny. I have mentioned only two cases, but there were a plenty of more such cases where people have started behaving unusual due to boredom. Can you believe this is the same boredom that once we used to fix just by having a little fun? And we always believed that boredom happened because we have nothing to do. And this reason is nearly 10%. And in order to understand the rest 90% of the reason, we have to understand the science behind it and a bit of history. Evolutionary psychologists believe that long ago, when humans used to hunt food for their survival, that time they had to constantly search for food. They would keep collecting berries or hunting animals until that area had nothing left. And the moment there was nothing left, hunger kicked in. Hunger was not just a feeling, it was the brain's way of saying,
There is nothing here anymore. Go somewhere else if you want to survive.
and today the same science is applied to our brain. Our brain cannot sit empty. It needs meaningful engagement and challenges to survive. And when the task is repetitive or lacks meaning, our brain allows us for engagement. But in some scenarios, the boredom acts to be way more serious than it seems to be. In a famous 2014 study by Wilson and his team, people were asked to sit alone in an empty room with their thoughts. They hated it so much that 67% of men and 25% of women choose to give themselves painful electric shocks just to feel something. A study of around 1500 university students showed that students who easily get bored are at a much higher risk of depression. Different people feels boredom differently, but young people and unmarried people usually feel it more, while it heavily impacts developing teens and isolated retirees due to lack of social contact. Now, boredom is not equal in every person, meaning it varies from person to person. Some people get easily bored, whereas some can work in extreme boredom. According to cognitive researchers, boredom is actually the experience of wanting to be engaged but being unable to direct your attention towards that work. Now, in our generation, people have got a fantastic solution for the boredom. Whenever we feel bored, we simply put out our phone and use it as a tool to remove boredom. The technology is not fixing the boredom, it is making it even worse. Now, this is not just a random statement. There is a wonderful experiment behind this statement. Researchers decided to test a simple question. Does switching between videos actually reduce boredom, or does it make it even worse? To find out, researchers from University of Toronto ran 7 different experiments involving more than 1200 participants. In the first experiment, people were asked to watch videos for 10 minutes. Some watched interesting videos while others watched boring videos. The result was exactly what you would expect. The people watching boring videos frequently skipped videos. They did not just jump to another video. They kept jumping back and forth inside the same video. In other words, boredom made people switch. But then the researchers asked a much more interesting question. What if switching itself is the reason people stay bored? So they ran another experiment. This time, one group could freely jump between different videos whenever they wanted. The other group had to stay with just one video. Most participants thought that having the freedom to switch would make the experience less boring. After all, that's exactly what most of us believe. If this video is boring, I will just watch another one. But when the experiment ended, the exact opposite happened. The people who kept switching actually reported feeling more bored. Not only that, they also enjoyed the experience less, felt less engaged, and found it less meaningful. So the researchers repeated the experiment. Then they took the experiment into the real world. Instead of laboratory, the participant did the experiment with YouTube videos, and the results looked surprisingly familiar. Most people admitted they skipped the videos because they were bored. But ironically, the more they switched, the more bored they became. So, why does this happen? The researchers believe the answer lies in something called opportunity cost. Imagine you are watching one video, but you know there are thousands of other videos waiting for you. A part of your brain keeps whispering, what if there is something better? Instead of fully enjoying what's in front of you, your attention gets trapped in everything you are not watching. And that's exactly what keeps the feeling of boredom alive. The researchers reached a simple conclusion. Trying to escape boredom by constantly switching does not solve it. It often makes it even worse. Because real enjoyment does not come from constantly searching for something better. It comes from staying with one thing long enough to become fully immersed in it. Now, here is the surprising part. The students who were not allowed to skip had a better experience than the ones who could switch whenever they wanted. They actually felt less bored. They enjoyed the video more. They found them more engaging and meaningful. Why? Because they were not constantly interrupting their attention. They were totally engaged with the storyline of the video. So instead of wondering, should I watch something else? They stayed in one video long enough to get fully focused on it. As you stayed till the end of the video, you deserve to know the solution of how to overcome this boredom. So practicing some simple yet effective techniques can help you to overcome this boredom. Tip number 1. Train your brain to stay with one thing. Read book, watch one video without checking your phone. Practice deep work. Tip number 2 is increase friction for your distractions. Hide your Instagram, log out of distracting apps. Keep your phone away while working. Tip number 3 is let your brain reset instead of escaping. Don't jump into another reel the moment you feel bored. Take a short walk, sit quietly for a few minutes. Do light exercise or journaling. Tip number 4 is replace passive consumption with meaningful engagement. Read, learn a skill, build something, have real conversation, create more than you consume. Tip number 5 is stop feeding your brain constant novelty. Avoid doom scrolling. Don't keep switching between videos or apps. Finish what you are watching before looking for something else. These are a few tips that personally help me to become more productive and get rid of doom scrolling, and it will definitely help you to. See you soon.